The steady hum of the Huron nest filled the quiet corridors as Ravi and Tama worked side by side. The ship's systems, once dormant and broken, were slowly coming back to life under their careful hands. Each repaired panel, each reconnected wire, brought Ravi closer to his past and to the future he now dared to hope for. Ravi stood before a large control console, staring at the star maps glowing softly on the screen. He traced a route with his finger, feeling a spark of purpose deep inside. "We can still fly this ship," he said, voice steady with determination. "I want to go home. I want to tell Earth what happened." Tama looked at him with calm eyes. "Earth has waited 15 years. They believed your mission was lost." Ravi clenched his fists. "I don't care what they believe. I'm alive. I have to try." Tama nodded. "Then we must prepare."
The ship's engines need testing.
Navigation systems must be recalibrated. And there are others who might not welcome your return. Ravi frowned. "What do you mean?" "There are fears about unknown dangers from the wormhole system your mission explored. Some in Earth's command think it's safer to keep the past buried. They might question your story." Ravi's heart pounded, but he stood tall. "I won't let fear stop me. The truth must be known." Days passed as they worked tirelessly. Ravi relearned old systems, connecting circuits with the precision of someone who once lived among machines. Tama provided steady support, guiding him when memories faltered or doubts arose. One evening, after a long day of repairs, Ravi sat beside Tama in the garden chamber. The purple leaves rustled gently as warm mist filled the air. "Do you think they will believe me?" he asked quietly. Tama smiled softly. "Humans are stronger than they know. You are a symbol now, not just of survival, but of hope." Ravi looked up at the stars outside the window. "I want to believe that. For my crew. For everyone waiting." The next morning, Ravi tested the ship's engines. The gentle roar of power returning made his chest swell with pride. The ship responded smoothly as he adjusted controls with growing confidence. "Tama," he said, "we can leave orbit soon. But I need your help." She nodded. "Always." Together, they prepared a message for Earth, a broadcast that would explain everything. Ravi's voice was steady as he recorded the words, telling the story of the Horizon Path, the wormhole disaster, and the 15 years he spent lost but alive. When the message was sent, I waited hours later. A reply came, a cold and formal voice from Earth's command. "Identify yourself. Confirm mission details." Ravi took a deep breath and replied clearly, "This is Ravi Menon, crew of the Horizon Path, survivor of the lost mission." The silence after his words felt like an eternity. Then the voice answered, "Your survival is unexpected. Prepare for docking instructions. You will be questioned." Ravi's hands trembled slightly, but his heart was steady. "We're ready," he said. Thomas smiled and took his hand. "You are not alone." As the ship turned toward Earth, Ravi felt a new strength rise inside him, a strength born from loss, from healing, and from the courage to face the unknown. He was going home, and this time he would be remembered. Markel sat quietly in the guest chamber of the Villari Palace. The walls were made of smooth crystal that glowed softly in the light. Outside the window, flying birds with rainbow feathers circled tall towers. But inside, Markel's mind was far from peaceful. He had saved a child. That was simple. But now he was tied by law to a powerful alien noblewoman. He didn't even understand how things had gone this far. The door opened, and Lady Vera entered, her face calm but unreadable. "Markel." Stood Lady Vera. "I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I can't accept this bond. I didn't save your daughter for reward." She looked at him quietly, then said, "I know." "Then can't we tell the council that this was a misunderstanding? That we both want this law canceled?" Vera gave a slight sigh. "It's not that easy. The law is ancient. It was made in a time of war, when saving a noble's bloodline was the highest honor. But this is a new age," Markel said. "You have peace now. Surely they can see reason." Vera looked away. "The council is divided. Some want to move forward. Others want to keep old ways. If we reject the law, we insult tradition. It will be seen as disrespect from Earth. Markle crossed his arms. But I don't want to own anyone. That goes against everything humans stand for. I do not belong to you in body, she said, firmly, but the law calls it a life bond. It means I must serve you with honor as thanks for saving my daughter. Markle sat down again, frustrated. There must be a peaceful way out. We will look for one, Vera said, sitting across from him. But until then, we must act united. Appearances matter here. Markle nodded slowly. So, we pretend? For now, she replied. But not as lovers, as partners, you will. Be treated as my chosen guardian, not as a husband. Markle gave a small smile that I can live with. Later that evening, they walked into the great hall of the Volari Council. The floor was smooth like ice, and tall statues of Volari heroes stood along the walls. 12 council members sat on floating chairs in a circle. Markle and Vera stood. In the center, a council elder with deep blue skin and long silver hair spoke. We welcome Earth's diplomat and Lady Vera. The bond has been reported. Do you accept this life union under the law of the old flame? Markle was about to speak, but Vera gently touched his arm and stepped forward. Honored council, accept the bond as tradition requires, but we request time to understand it fully. The council murmured among themselves. Another elder spoke. The human saved your child. That is clear. But what do we know of his true purpose here? Markle stepped forward now. I came only to build peace between our worlds. I had no plans to bond or interfere with your laws. The elder narrowed his eyes. And yet here you are. Another member, younger and more open-minded, said, Should we punish kindness? The man acted bravely. The head of the council finally raised her hand. Let the bond stand for now. People already speak of it. Breaking it would create doubt and unrest. Markle and Vera bowed. The decision was made as they left. The chamber whispers followed them. Some Volari watched with curiosity, others with anger. Markle could feel that he had become part of something much bigger than diplomacy, back in their temporary residence. Vera seemed tired. I understand if you regret saving her, she said suddenly. Markle turned to her. Don't ever say that. I'd do it again. A child's life is never a mistake. Vera looked at him strangely, even knowing what it would cost you. And Markle shrugged. It's not a cost. It's just a path I didn't expect. There was silence. Do all humans think like you? He chuckled. Not all. Some are selfish. Some are afraid. But many try to do what's right, even when it's hard. Vera nodded slowly. I see why Earth grows fast. You push forward with heart, not just logic. He smiled faintly. And your people, they move carefully, but with deep honor. The tension between them softened just a little. The next morning, news spread through the city like fire. Human diplomat and noble Lady Vera, now bonded by ancient law. Earth and Volari, closer than ever, or too close. Public opinion was mixed. Some cheered, calling it a symbol of peace. Others protested, saying the law should not mix with alien blood. In secret, a group of old nobles met in shadowed rooms. They feared change, they hated humans, and now they had a reason. To act, one of them, Lord Kethan, slammed his fist on the table. This bond must be broken, if not by law, then by force. That night a message came to Vera's door. No sender. Just a line written in the Volari language. Break the bond or suffer the storm. Markle read it with her. A threat? Nodded. It begins. Markle took a breath. Then we stand together until we find a way forward. She looked at him, surprised again by his calm strength. Yes, she said quietly. Together. The golden palace of the Volari glowed like a star in the heart of the city. Its high walls were guarded day and night, but even the thickest walls could not stop whispers and secrets. Inside the royal residence, Markle and Lady Vera were now under constant watch, not just by the guards, but by the eyes of the public. Some visitors bowed respectfully. Others looked with hidden anger. Markle stayed calm. He had been in political danger before. but something about this world made him feel more uneasy than usual. The threat note they had received was short, but serious, and Vera knew enough of her people to take it seriously. "We are being watched," Vera said one evening. As she stood by the crystal window, Markel was reading a Valari scroll about old laws. He looked up. "By your people or the council?" "Both," she replied, "but I don't fear them. It's the silent ones I worry about." That same day, a guard entered with a message. "The High Council requests your presence," he said to both of them. "They wish to speak of your bond." Markel and Vera exchanged a look. "More questions?" he asked. "Maybe," she replied. "Maybe something worse." They were led through long silver halls to the inner chamber of the council. The air inside was cold, and the 12 members sat like statues. On the floor lay a metal box. "This," the elder said, "was found near the trade tower this morning. It holds the remains of a second drone." Markel's eyes widened. "Another attack." The young council member, Elder Anil, nodded. "Yes, but it was stopped before it could act. What's strange is this drone's target was not a child. It was you, Markel." Vera stepped forward. "He is under council protection. That is an attack on the law itself." Another elder, clearly one of the traditionalists, spoke slowly. "Perhaps the human brings danger with him. Perhaps his presence stirs enemies from the shadows." Markel stood tall. "Or perhaps someone fears what peace between our people could become." The council fell silent. The head elder finally said, "We will increase your security. But be careful your bond, your actions. They now carry the weight of 2 worlds." That night, Taya, Vera's daughter, ran to her mother's chamber. Her eyes were wide with fear. "Mother, someone was in my room," she whispered. Vera held her close. "What do you mean?" "I woke up. The window was open. Oh. I saw a shadow. He left before I screamed." Markel walked in, hearing the last part. "We need answers now." He contacted the Earth team back at the embassy. Within an hour, a small human device arrived, a scanner tool, designed to detect energy and heat signatures. Markel and Vera checked Taya's room. Scanner beeped near the window. "There was someone here," Markel said, showing the faint heat trail. "But they didn't use Valari tech. This is something older. Hidden." They followed the signal through servant halls and narrow staircases until it stopped at the chamber of Advisor Neller, a close assistant to the council. "Neller?" Vera asked, surprised. "He has served the palace for 40 years. Markel looked at the scanner. "He may be hiding more than advice." They entered quietly. The room was neat, full of books and scrolls. But behind the wall was a storage box. When they opened it, Markel stepped back. Inside were pieces of drones, poison needles, and an old map of palace tunnels. "He's been planning something," Markel whispered. For a long time, suddenly a soft knock echoed at the door. They turned. It was Nell, or he froze when he saw the open box. "I warned them," he said slowly. "I told them not to trust humans, but they didn't listen." Vera stepped forward. "You tried to kill my daughter." "I tried to protect our world," he said, voice shaking. "Humans grow fast. They spread fast. They will rule us if we don't stop them now." Markel stepped in front of Vera. "Peace doesn't mean control." But Neller wasn't listening. He pulled a small device from his robo-remote trigger. Before he could press it, Vera threw a sharp object from the shelf. It hit his hand, and the device dropped. Markel jumped forward and tackled him. Guards rushed in and arrested Neller. Later, in the same chamber where they once stood uncertain, Markel and Vera now stood victorious. Elder Anel addressed the others. "Advisor Neller betrayed our laws. His hatred blinded him. But it was the human and his bondmate who exposed him." The older council members looked uneasy, their old views shaken. Markel stepped forward. "I don't want your throne. I don't want your power. Only want your trust." Vera added, "He saved my daughter again, not with weapons, but with patience and wisdom." The head elder rose. "Then let the records show. This bond, though forced by law, has grown into something greater." Outside, the sky turned orange as night fell, but inside the palace, something else was rising, trust. That evening, as the palace settled into silence, Vera and Markle sat under the stars. "You didn't have to run into danger," she said quietly. He smiled. "Neither did you." She looked at him, thoughtful. "Perhaps this bond was not a mistake," Markle replied. "Maybe it was just a strange way to begin something, right?" And above them, Ulan Prime's twin moons rose watching over a human and a noble, no longer strangers. The morning sun painted the sky of Ulan Prime with soft shades of orange and pink. Markle woke early in the guest quarters of the palace. The night's events had left his mind restless. He knew the danger was not over. Lady Vera was already waiting. In the room when he entered, she was dressed in her formal robe, her silver-blue skin glowing softly in the morning light. "Good morning," Markel said. Vera nodded but did not smile. "We have much to do." They sat at a long table covered with maps and data screens. The palace advisors had given them access to the council's records and archives. It was time to find the truth behind the attacks and who else might be involved. Markle studied the maps carefully. These tunnels beneath the palace are old, hidden passages from the wartime. Anyone could use them to move unseen. Vera touched the map. Many secrets lie underground, but only a few know their paths. Markle frowned. "That is why we must combine our ways. My human methods are about asking questions and testing facts. Your people rely on honor and intuition." Vera looked at him thoughtfully. "Your ways are strange, but I see value in them," Markle smiled. "And I see strength in yours." They began their search with the palace guards. Markle asked simple, clear questions. Who was near the tunnels? Who had access? Who acted differently in the last weeks? Vera spoke to nobles and servants, listening carefully to rumors and feelings. Where Markle used logic, she used her understanding of Valari customs and the unspoken rules of respect and power. Their differences caused small disagreements. "You asked too many questions," Vera said one evening. "Some things are better left alone," Markle replied, "but hiding secrets only lets danger grow." Vera nodded slowly. "Perhaps you are right." Together, they uncovered strange facts. A trusted advisor, Neller, was seen meeting with unknown strangers. He had argued against peace with humans many times in council meetings. More worrying, Markle found evidence that drone parts were being built in secret workshops near the palace. "Hidden under layers of protection, we must act," Markle said firmly. Vera agreed, but carefully. "We cannot accuse without proof." The two worked closely, their trust growing with each discovery. One afternoon, while reviewing reports, Vera shared something personal. "My daughter Taya is strong, but she is still a child. I fear for her future in this world." Markle looked up. "I lost a daughter too, long ago on Earth. It is a pain that never leaves." Vera's eyes softened. "You understand more than most." Markle nodded. "It makes me fight harder for peace." They sat silently, sharing a moment of human and Valari pain. Days passed. Their combined efforts led them to hidden tunnels below the city. Markle activated his scanner, detecting faint energy signals. "We are close," he said. Vera led the way, her steps sure and quiet. The tunnel walls were damp and dark, but ancient carvings glowed faintly, telling stories of past wars and forgotten heroes. Suddenly, they heard footsteps behind them. "Stop," a voice commanded. A group of armed men appeared, blocking the path. Markle raised his hands. "We do not want to fight," the leader sneered. "You do not belong here, human. You, Lady Vera, have betrayed us." Vera stood tall. "I protect my daughter and my people, nothing more." The leader laughed bitterly. "Then you are a traitor. The council will see justice." Before the fight could begin, palace guards arrived, surrounding the men. Markle and Vera exchanged relieved looks. Back in the palace, the captured men revealed they worked for a secret group that wanted to stop the bond and destroy the peace talks. Markle and Vera knew the road ahead was dangerous, but they had learned something important. By mixing human logic with Valari honor, they could face any challenge. Vera looked at Markle. "You have changed this world, and me." Markle smiled. And you have shown me strength I never knew. Together, they prepared for the next step, facing the council in a trial that would decide the future of both their peoples. The great hall of the Valari Council was filled with light. The air was thick with tension. Today, Markle and Lady Vera would stand before the council in a trial that could change everything. The hall was vast, with high ceilings made of shining crystal. The 12 council members sat on floating chairs, their faces serious and unreadable. Around them stood guards and scribes, ready to record every word. Markle adjusted his simple robe and looked at Vera. She was calm, but he could see the weight of responsibility in her eyes. "This trial will test our bond," she said softly. "It is a tradition that goes back centuries. Council will use mind probes to see the truth." Markle nodded. "I am ready." The head elder, a tall Valari woman with silver hair, raised her hand. "The bond between a human and a noble is new to us. We must understand it fully. Markle, you will speak first." Markle stepped forward. He told the story of the market attack, how he saved Taya, and the forced bond that followed. He spoke honestly about his fears and hopes, about his daughter who had died years ago on Earth. As he spoke, a faint glow surrounded him. The council's mind probes were active, reading his memories and emotions. Markle felt the pain of loss again, but he also felt hope. Next, Lady Vera stood. She spoke with grace and strength about her daughter's safety and the danger their family had faced. She admitted her own doubts about the bond, but praised Markle's courage and wisdom, though. "The law forced this bond. It has shown me new paths," she said. "Paths that may lead to peace between our peoples." The council listened closely, but then an elder rose, his voice cold. "This bond is unnatural," he said. "A human cannot understand our ways. This union may bring ruin." Another elder, younger and kinder, spoke up. "Change is difficult," she said, "but we must not fear what we do not understand. Markle has shown honor." Suddenly, the trial took a dangerous turn. One of the council's hidden devices began to hum. A secret poison gas started to fill the room. Markle felt the air grow heavy. He coughed and looked around. Guards were collapsing one by one. Vera acted quickly, using a small blade hidden in her sleeve. She cut open the gas vents. She helped Markle and the others breathe fresh air. The head elder shouted, "Someone has betrayed us." Markle and Vera looked at each other. The trial was no longer just about words. It was a fight for survival. Markle said, "We must find the traitor." Vera nodded. "And stop them before more harm is done." The council guards searched the chamber. The poison came from a secret panel near the elder, who had spoken against the bond. The elder tried to deny it. The evidence was clear, he confessed. "I feared the humans would destroy our world." The head elder looked disappointed but firm. "This betrayal will not be forgiven. You will face the punishment of the council." The traitor exposed, the trial continued. Markle and Vera spoke about the future, how humans and Valari could learn from each other, how their bond, though forced, had grown into trust. The council listened and began to change. The head elder finally said, "This bond is unusual, but it may be the key to a new era." Markle and Vera bowed deeply. After the trial, Markle and Vera walked in the palace gardens. The stars twinkled above. Vera said, "You have proven yourself not just to the council, but to me." Markle smiled. "And you have shown me the strength of your people." They both knew the road ahead was still difficult. For the first time, hope felt real. The Valari Council chamber was brighter than usual. The great room had been prepared for an important meeting. After the recent trial and the exposure of the traitor, the council knew change was coming. Markle and Lady Vera sat among the council members. Their bond, once forced by law, was now a symbol of hope. But old traditions die slowly, and many members still hesitated. The head elder spoke first. "The ancient law that binds a noble and their protector has never been questioned. But today, we must listen to new voices." She looked at Markle. "Human diplomat, you have shown courage and honor. What do you ask of us now?" Markle stood. "I ask for peace, respect, and equality between our peoples." The law should not force anyone. Bonds must be chosen freely. Vera nodded. Traditions are strong, but they must grow with the times. I ask that we write a new law that honors choice, trust, and partnership. The council members murmured among themselves. Some feared change. Others saw wisdom. An elder with bright eyes spoke. If the law changes, what happens to the bond you share? Vera replied. It remains, but as a partnership. One built on respect, not obligation. Markle added, humans believe that trust is stronger than rules. If we can build trust, peace will follow. Debates lasted for hours. Outside the city, buzzed with news. People were eager, hopeful, but also nervous. At last, the head elder raised her hand. We will vote on the new law by sunrise. Markle and Vera returned to their rooms, tired but hopeful. That night, Markle walked in the palace gardens. The twin moons shone brightly. Vera joined him. Do you think they will accept? He asked. Vera smiled. Change is never easy, but I believe they will. We have given them a choice. They watched as fireflies danced among the flowers. Suddenly, a soft voice called from behind. Taya, Vera said. Turning to see her daughter approaching, the girl looked at Markle and smiled. I'm glad you saved me, and I'm glad you stayed. Bent down, thank you, Taya. You are very brave. The next morning, the council chamber was packed. The vote was about to begin. Markle stood beside Vera as the elders cast their decisions. One by one, the votes were read. The new law passed. Cheers filled the room. The old rules would change. Vera spoke to the council. Today we begin a new chapter. A chapter where no one is forced, but all choose their path. Markle added, this law will bring our peoples closer. Together, we can face the stars. Outside, the city erupted in celebration. People sang songs of hope and friendship. Markle and Vera stood on a balcony, looking at the joyful crowd. Vera turned to Markle. You saved more than my daughter's life. You saved our future. Markle smiled. I showed me the power of honor and choice. The days that followed were full of new challenges and new friendships. Trade between Earth and Yulon Prime increased. The two worlds learned from each other. Vera and Markle worked side by side, not as master and servant, but as equals. Bond was no longer a burden, it was a bridge. Taya grew stronger and happier. Knowing her mother and Markle stood united, one evening, as they watched the stars, Vera whispered, this bond. It was written in the stars long before we met. Markle nodded, and now it will guide us forward. The stars of Earth's system shined like old friends in the distance. Ravi stood in the control room of the Huron nest, staring at the blue and white planet slowly growing larger on the screen. His hands rested on the console, steady and calm. He had waited 15 long years for this moment. Tama stood beside him, quiet but watchful. Her silver hair reflected the light of the monitors, and her voice, as always, carried peace. We've entered Earth orbit, she said softly. Their tracking systems have locked onto us, Ravi nodded. Let them see. I want them to know I made it. A moment later, a communication light blinked on the panel. A deep voice came through, flat and official. Unidentified vessel, state your designation and identity. Ravi pressed the button. His voice was clear, stronger than ever. This is Ravi Menon, crew of the Horizon Path, survivor of the lost mission, requesting landing permission. There was silence. Then another voice came, shocked, uncertain. Repeat your name, Ravi. Menon, I survived. I have full mission logs, reports, and memory evidence. A pause. Stand by. Smog glanced at Ravi. They are surprised. Good, Ravi said. Let them be. After a few minutes, the voice returned, this time more respectful. Ravi Menon, Earth Control, confirms your identity. Prepare for guided descent to Docking Station 12. Medical and command teams will be waiting. Ravi gave a slight smile. Copy that. The ship began its slow descent. The engines hummed gently, responding smoothly to Ravi's touch. Below them, Earth glowed with clouds, oceans, and green lands. It looked just like he remembered, but he had changed. He was no longer the excited young man who had left Earth, full of dreams. He was someone who had seen loss, faced darkness, and walked back into the light. And he hadn't done it alone, Tama. Okay, he said as the ship moved toward the docking station. You've done more for me than I ever thought possible. Thank you. She looked at him with soft eyes. I only did what was right. You were lost, but never broken. I simply walked beside you until you were ready to return. He smiled. Still, I want them to know. About you. About what you did? You don't need to, she replied gently. But if you wish to, I will stand beside you. The ship slowed as it approached docking station 12. Large silver arms extended from the Earth structure, locking gently. Onto the ship's sides, a soft vibration ran through the floor as they connected. They had arrived. Inside the ship, Ravi checked the systems one last time. Everything was stable. Then the main door opened. Bright white light filled the hallway. Ravi stepped forward slowly. A team of humans in uniforms waited outside. Most of them stared at him as if seeing a ghost. One of them, a tall woman with short hair and a badge marked Earth Command, stepped forward. Ravi Menon, she asked carefully. Yes, he said calmly. I'm here, and I remember everything. She studied his face. You've been gone for 15 years. We gave up hope. Ravi nodded. I didn't, and I've brought back the full story. Others began scanning him, checking his vitals, confirming his identity. All readings came back normal. Behind him, Thomas stood quietly, watching but not stepping forward. The Earth's officer noticed her. Who is she? Ravi turned. This is B. Tama, she's the reason I'm standing here. She's not human, but she's more kind, more patient, and more loyal than anyone I've ever known. Tama bowed her head slightly.
Ow.
Peace to your people. Some officers looked uneasy, but the lead officer nodded back. If she helped you, she will be treated with respect. Ravi stepped further into the station. Every part of it felt familiar yet strange. The lights, the walls, the smell. It was Earth, but not quite the Earth he left. Where will I go now? Ravi asked. The officer replied to the council. I want to hear everything. And the people Earth has already received your broadcast. They know your name. They know you lived. Ravi looked back at Tama. Will you come with me? Tama smiled. If you wish. They walked together through the halls of the station. Screens around them began flashing news updates. Lost astronaut returns. Ravi Menon survived with help of alien caretaker. 15 years in space, the story that changed everything. Everywhere he looked, people stared. Some with curiosity, some with wonder, but none with fear. Ravi kept walking, his steps steady, his voice calm. He was not afraid. He had been through worsened, come back stronger by the end of the day. The world knew his story. They knew about the horizon path, about the broken wormhole, about the lost crew who gave everything. And they knew about Tama the alien, who stayed with a broken human every single night, guiding him back to life. That night, Ravi stood outside a large window, looking down at Earth from orbit. It looked so peaceful from above. Tama stood beside him. It feels strange, he said. Like I never left, but also like I've been gone forever. You came back, Tama said. And that is enough, he nodded. The journey was not over. There would be questions, interviews, reports. But Ravi wasn't afraid anymore. He had walked through his pain. He'd remembered what mattered. And now he had a purpose again. He turned to Tama. Will you stay? She looked at him, her voice soft. As long as you need me. Ravi smiled. Then stay. Together, they watched the Earth spin slowly below. And this time, Ravi remembered. Everything. He remembered the loss. He remembered the healing. And he remembered the strength it took to return home.